What's good on my trader and investor homies? It's your boy Kevin. This is Touchdown Trades, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the most recent updates on whether or not we're going to see the big stimulus bill passed in both the House and the Senate. Are we going to be getting our $1,400 stimmy checks in the mail or not? And what stocks should we be buying with our stimulus checks? We saw a pullback in the market over the last couple of weeks, and it's giving us an opportunity to look at some really good long-term investments at a discount. And I think we're going to be getting the stimmy checks, baby. The stimulus is probably going to be getting passed. We're going to go into some further detail about that in just a second. So we're going to have some extra money on hand to invest in the stock market. So let's talk about the stimmy checks. Let's talk about my top stocks to buy with the stimulus checks. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, just click all the buttons. If you like free money, check out the link in the description to Webull. It's the broker I use every single day. They've partnered up with the channel, and they're giving you guys 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850. All right, let's break down the most recent updates on stimulus, and let's talk about some undervalued stocks that are trading at a discount right now. Let's get it. All right, let's break down these stimulus check talks. Let's break down some cheap stocks right now. Don't worry, guys. I will never make stimulus the topic of the channel. There's some YouTubers out there, like a guy who shares my name, Meet Kevin, who all they do is talk about stimulus. It's insane, and this guy has 1,000 stimulus videos on his channel. We're not going there, but it is important. We do need to know the most recent updates regarding stimulus. We need to know how stimulus is going to affect the market, whether it's passed, whether it's not passed. That way we can plan our investments, our thesis on these trades, on these investments, around kind of how stimulus is going to affect the market. We can see here on the 1-year chart on the SPY that the SPY sold off pretty good last week. It rejected off those 395 levels pretty hard and sold off down towards $380 a share. That is giving us the opportunity to look at some really good long-term stocks at a discounted price point. Now, stimulus was passed in the House. The bill is officially passed in the House and will move on to the Senate. It was looking more and more like the bill was not going to get passed because the Democrats did not want to budge on the $15 per hour minimum wage increase. And the Republicans were just not going to allow that to go through. And even some Democrats were not going to allow that to go through. Joe Manchin from West Virginia was not about it. He wasn't about the $15 an hour minimum wage. So that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why the stock market sold off this past week, is because the market was anticipating a holdup in Congress over this new stimulus bill. Why does the stock market want stimulus to go through? Because when stimulus is passed, it's an injection of money into the stock market, and when there's money flowing into the stock market does what? It goes up. Obviously, if there's more people buying stocks, the stock market is going to go up. This website, robintrack.net, can measure the amount of money, the amount of positions on Robinhood that are being opened up every week. And we can see that when these stimulus bills were passed, boom and boom, the amount of money and the amount of positions that are being opened by retail traders is massive. Last week, we have seen a low that we haven't seen in a couple months in the amount of new positions opened in the market by these retail traders. And I think once the stimulus checks start going out, we see more retail traders coming into the market like we saw here, and we get a retest of those all-time highs on the overall market. So let's talk about who's going to be eligible to get a check, who's not going to be eligible, and then I'll offer my opinion on the stocks that I think are the best stocks to buy with a stimulus check. So if you make under $75,000 per year, last year in 2020, or it will probably be based on 2019 because a lot of people haven't filed their 2020 tax return yet. If you made less than $75,000 gross income, you will be eligible for a $1,400 stimulus check. If you are a head of household, $112,000 is going to be the cutoff. In married couples filing jointly, the cutoff will be $150K. Provided the legislation passes without delays, it already passed in the House, it's headed to the Senate. Experts expect the $1,400 deposits could start arriving in late March. So there is going to be some time in between when the bill is passed and when the checks start going out. So they're saying late March is when the checks could possibly start hitting the bank accounts. Some of you guys may be thinking to yourself, all right, I'm getting $1,400. That's not enough to invest in the stock market. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go buy some new Nikes. I'm gonna go buy some J's. I'm gonna spend it on my girl. I'm going on vacation. I'm not investing this money in the stock market because it's not enough to really do anything. Wrong answer. You failed the test. $1,400 is a great start in getting invested in the stock market. If you invest $1,400 today in a great company, let's say, for example, you invested in any growth company, we'll call it any growth stock you invested in. Let's say it averages you a 20% annual return over the next 20 years. You're 20 years old right now. You're investing your $1,400 stimmy check in the market in a growth company, and it does really good for you. It's a good investment, and it gives you an annual return of 20% over 20 years. That $1,400 stimulus check, by the time you're 40, is going to be worth $53,000. That's why investing in the stock market, that compound interest, does wonderful things. Compound interest gives me a chubby. Okay, so we saw that the $1,400 stimulus check over 20 years brought you back over $50,000. But it gets even better, folks. Over 30 years, so you started when you're 20, you only made one investment of $1,400. It was a really good investment. You picked a good company, you picked a good stock, and it gave you back 20% annually average. Okay, how about 30 years? So you're 50 years old, you haven't touched that account, and you go and look at it, it would be worth $332,000 on your 50th birthday. So that'd be a really nice birthday present. So $1,400 doesn't seem like a lot right now, but when you get it rolling down the hill with that compound interest, it can go to the moon. And let's make it even better. Let's say you invested the $1,400 stimulus check to start with. Then every month you put in $500 out of your income into the stock market. You did really well. You picked some really good stocks. You hit 20% annually per year, which is beating the stock market. It's hard to do, but people do it all the time. If you put the research into it, you can absolutely do it. So over the course of 30 years, you turn 50, you're investing $500 a month plus that initial stimulus check. Your $1,400 stimulus check has turned into $7.5 million. That is why you shouldn't take this stock market investing lightly. You shouldn't take the money that you're making now lightly. The compound interest is for real. So take your stimulus check, do some research, do some due diligence, and put it in a investment. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be the stock market, but put it in something where your money starts to work for you. All right, let's talk about my top stocks to invest your stimulus money in after the checks come out. So we saw the overall market take a big nosedive last week, but the growth stocks that we all know and love took a much harder beating. I had one of the worst weeks in my personal account that I've had in a long time. Still had a really good month of February, but a really bad week last week. So that said, I still think these clean energy stocks that I love so much are really good buys right now, especially at these discounted price points. I think what kind of triggered the growth stock sell-off was what happened to CCIV and Lucid Motors, but I think these companies are really good long-term buys. Number one, Sunworks. This is a solar stock that I think has a lot of potential and I think will grow with the overall sector. It is sold off from $30 a share all the way down to $13 per share. I think we round out. I think this $10 low holds and we round out, slowly work our way back up towards those recent highs. I love love the solar sector. I think it's going to be a $1 trillion industry in the next few years. I think this sector is headed to the moon. You don't want to sleep on solar. What happened in Texas, the freeze up of the wind turbines in Texas caused a big mass power outage, and it really put a nosedive into the clean energy sector, but it bounces back. And solar is one of the sectors that I'll be looking to invest my Stimmy check in. Stock number 2 to invest your Stimmy check in is going to be Hyliion for me. I keep buying Hyliion and it keeps going lower, and I keep buying more. And as long as Hyliion keeps dropping, I'm going to keep buying. I love Hyliion. If you guys have been around the channel for any amount of time, you know that I am in absolute love with Hyliion. I think the technology is going to carry the long distance trucking industry into electric, but I think they're going to need to walk across the hybrid bridge in order to get there, and Hyliion's going to hold their hand while they cross that bridge. Hyliion at $15 per share is flat out too cheap. $15 per share is too cheap for this stock. In my opinion, this is a $30 per share company today and could easily be a $50 per share company over the next couple of years. 200-300% upside potential with this Hyliion, in my opinion. Gonna throw a penny stock in for the final stock that I like to invest a Stimmy check in. How about CIDM, Cinegem Corporation? This is an independent movie studio. Cord cutting is in full effect. People are canceling their cable subscriptions left and right, and this is going to help out CIDM, which operates an independent filming studio. They film TV shows, they film movies, and then sell them to TV streaming services like Hulu, Netflix, and Roku. All these Roku widgets that you have when you go to the Roku menu, CIDM sells their content to these companies, and I think this company is undervalued today and is going to experience massive growth over the next couple of years. Currently, we're trading at $1.40 per share. We're coming into the support area down around $1 per share, and I think over the next 12 months, we break out over that $2.50 area. I love CIDM. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's headed to the moon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the stimulus check update and the update on which stocks I'll be looking to invest my stimulus check money in. If you got something from the video, do me a favor and hit that like button, consider subscribing, and turning on the notifications. Check out the link in the description for the Patreon. You can come trade with me, get my buy and sell alerts in real time with the private chat, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace.